Hello again, it's Courtney, and I'm just going to jump into a little bit more detail about why it is that you want this trio in your kit, but also how you want to market these to your clients. I have joked in the past and said that I felt like our loose powder, specifically the translucent loose powder, is kind of the redheaded stepchild of our entire line because it is so fantastic and it does not get a lot of attention. I feel like our powders get a little bit of a bad name because the packaging is not the best. Now, in a pinch, the packaging is actually quite awesome. I love just putting the canister with the brush in my purse just in case I do happen to get a little bit shiny throughout the day. But I'm going to show you guys the difference. So this is a new translucent loose powder, and then this is mine. You'll see that this one is completely empty. I use mine every single day. So I'm going to show you guys, and again, I've done this in a video hack before, but you guys really want to pay attention to this so that you can show it to your clients because it makes this much easier to sell. And also, you know, when you're looking at a product that is, you know, the product itself is $50. So with getting your 50% markup on that, you know, you're going to make $25 on it, which is one of our higher price points. And as amazing of a product as this is, there's no reason why you shouldn't be marketing it. Oh, and guess what? It's almost always in stock. So, you know, that's a win in and of itself. So, if you guys notice, mine is completely empty. And here's why. When you first get your loose powder, whether we're talking about the natural, the bronze dust, or the silver rose, it's going to be packaged like this. You're going to extend it out a little bit, take off the lid, and then if you take this down, you're going to have a nice fluffy brush. Now, this is a synthetic brush, and I'm a big fan of synthetic brushes, but this is almost a little too synthetic. It's pretty stiff. As far as like, I mean, when you're applying a powder to your face, a big urban legend is that you're supposed to do this with it, and that's not how you apply any powder of any kind. You want to take your brush when you're applying powder, and you almost want to use like almost a stippling motion, except for when you're applying a powder, you're supposed to be using a bigger, fluffier brush so that those bristles are really soft, and they basically just like melt that powder right into your face, so you're setting whatever it is that you're working with. This brush does not necessarily achieve that. Again, in a pinch, it's actually quite nice because then you can I'll just like dot it along my nose. You know, and that works really well. But as far as daily use, and I do use this product every single day, this is just not the ideal packaging. So I want to show you guys what's the best way to use it yourself, as well as how you can use it for your client. Now, again, while I'm doing this, the natural powder, this powder can be used on any skin type and any skin tone. So there is not one client in your clientele that you should not be approaching about this product. If they're oily, then, you know, it's somebody that they could have this in their purse just in case they get shiny throughout the day. But also, even if they're dry, because I'm dry and I love using it right around here because it gives me a very nice airbrushed finish. Another thing that I love using it for is I set my candlelight right under my eyes with it because I tend to get that mascara line that is so not cute, but I get that, and not one time have I ever gotten it while using this under, just like setting right on top of the candlelight. So this stuff is amazing, and I've used all sorts of setting powders before, you know, whether it's Laura Mercier or the RCMA for baking and things like that. No powder that I have ever used ever comes close to this. So this is fantastic. So what you want to do is you want to extend it out like this, and then you just twist this and it comes right off. And then when you do that, you can see you've got a completely open canister. Right? You do also have this little piece right here is now a sponge, and that is what makes it so when the powder sifts through this sponge and then disperses through the brush right here, that's what makes it so you don't get like huge clumps and everything, and it's really nice, and I mean, it applies beautifully. Honestly, if the brush head itself were different, then I would never dismantle this, but instead what I did was, initially when this was very full, I would just open it like this and then take a setting brush like this. This is just a Real Technique setting brush. It's like $7. And I would pop it in the top like this. Do you see how it kind of fits perfectly? But then once I started working my way down in the powder, then instead I did this. So we're just gonna put this back on really quick. And I finally went through my first evening moisturizer canister, and I just wiped it out, and then I put all of my powder in there, and now it's super open. So whether I'm taking, just to give you guys an idea of the size, whether I'm taking my setting brush like that, and then I just dip it in, and what I do is I dip it in there, and then I take the lid like this, and I know like all my different little motions here are setting off my lights, so I apologize, but this isn't Hollywood quality anyway. But what I do is then I'll just swirl it in the bottom to kind of work the product into the brush, and then I'll pat it on. But if I am going like full glam on my face and I want a setting powder, then I'm going to take a fluffier face powder brush and just stick it, you know, right in the canister. And then again, I'm just going to swirl it around in the lid, and it makes it so much easier to work with. Before I did get one of those little sifter cans off of Amazon, and I liked that, but honestly, I just like this better because it's got the blue lid, and I'm like so 100% Senegence that I like having proof that like the product in here is still Senegence. It's just a mind game. That's all. Okay, so the next benefit that you can use with your clients is with our Bronze Dust. Now, I'll use Bronze Dust to warm me up. I'm not wearing it right now, but I'll use it to warm up if I'm not going hard with a contour that day. I'll use it, you know, over here where I would want the illusion of kind of pulling back in my cheeks, and then I also use it on my upper forehead when I'm not wearing a fantastic Lip Boss hat. And then another thing that you can also do is if you wanted to take the top off of this as well and dip a brush in, you can actually use this as an eyeshadow too. That is one thing that not a lot of people realize. If you do use a bronzer on your face, if you use the exact same tone of bronzer as an eyeshadow, then it's super, super flattering. It gives you a very all around pulled together look. And again, this is just if you're going for like a super natural look, like a really quick, I'm a mom on the go look, that is fantastic, and they'll never contradict each other. So that's really nice as well. And then with the Silver Rose, I thought that I've actually made fun of it on camera before. Like, if you guys have seen any of the tutorials that I have done, like, I usually compare this to, like, Britney Spears in the 90s, and I'm like, nobody wants that much glitter on their face. But here's the thing. If you are fair-skinned or cool toned, you can wear this as a very natural looking blush, and it looks really nice. I've seen this quite a few times, and I'm like, oh, you surprised me. This is great. It does have quite a bit of shimmer to it. Not so much that if you brush it on lightly that you're gonna look crazy in your face, but only if you are fair-skinned or cool toned. Even if you are fair and warm, don't try it. Or if you are cool but a little on the darker side, don't try it. So just know there are rules. But then it's like, well, then what am I personally going to use it for? And if anybody who's ever met me knows, I am not going to let a product go to waste. I'm super cheap. But I love using this as like a body shimmer. Most of the time, I really love using my pearlizer in my lotion. I mean, I just feel like it gives you such a nice glow. But it is definitely a glow. And sometimes you don't want to go like that, you know, or maybe I've already done my lotion. I'm like, I just want a little like pick me up. This is really good for like a body shimmer. So this is excellent. Again, I already talked about how these are so finely milled that these can blend into each other and are just gorgeous. But one of the things that I want to show you guys is that I have used this same Bronze Dust. And you can hear me, I'm packing it down, so I'm not like trying to fluff up the product or anything like this. But I got this Bronze Dust in May of last year when I started, and I have used it every single day. Not a day has gone by that I have not used it. And look at where the product is. I'm only halfway through right now. So for this product to be $50, it's actually really, really easy sell, especially when you compare some of the powders to what's on the market right now, because you're going to easily pay. I mean, I think Bye Bye Under Eye, I think is like $45 if memory serves. And then you can easily go into the 50s and 60s with MAC. You know, so the price point is actually quite comparable, but here you're not going to have any sort of clogged pores or anything like that. So what I would do with your clients is I would talk about the variety of uses that there are available for all three of these. I would say in order of importance, every single one of your clients needs to have the natural loose powder. That's just a given. That's a rule. Courtney said so. So you should really be talking to every single one of your clients about it. And all three of these products, most of the time, are in stock. It's been at least 3 months since the natural loose powder was out of stock. So this is something that you can get for anybody. It's universal. You don't have to worry about the skin tone, and you can also market it to anybody. So you should be stocking up on this one with a quickness. So if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And as usual, it's always a pleasure chatting with you ladies. I'm sure I'll be talking to you later. Good night.